Okay, so we've got another day of testing, and I've got the niece out here to help me make sure that I do this right because we've only got so many days before we go live, 5 days to be exact, and so I'm just trying to make sure that everything is in order, everything is set up correctly so that we get there and it's not technical difficulties because of user error. I'm not worried about connection because that part I got down, but it is primarily just trying to make sure that everything is good on this side. So I know I talked about wanting to discuss families and joining a family, and so my thought was to just really consider the process of joining a family. When I think about our first couple of dates, I don't recall us discussing family or family values or family beliefs. That was not part of our discussion. We pretty much just, did our normal deal. But I knew that when we had our reunion that I wanted to, invite him to come to that. And I have never invited anyone to a reunion. So it was a pretty big deal for him to be there. Caused a lot of ruckus, if you will, with my older cousins, both male and female. And so it was one of those things where, Gwendolyn has invited somebody, so something serious must be happening. So
my phone's too old.
Well, I'm sorry that your phone's too old, but at least you tried. I appreciate that. You're interrupting my whole deal here. I was in the middle of talking.
I'm sorry.
So yeah, I don't need to see that though. Thank you. Okay, so as I was saying, so we did the reunion. That was great. He helped me do all the photography work, what have you. And then a few months later, I was invited to, photograph his grandmother's birthday party, and that was a chance for me to get to meet all of his people. So, in those first two encounters of us mixing with each other's family, it felt good. Felt like things were, solid, but it wasn't until it was, I guess, Labor Day? No, Memorial Day? I don't know, one of those holidays that personally could be a holiday, may not be a holiday, whatever. It was one of those that we were sitting outside and, there was barbecue happening, and there was people playing music and dominoes and playing cards, and it just felt like home is what it really felt like. It just felt like home. And then when you realize that you have met like other people of the same tribe, it's a whole nother feeling. It's when you sit and say, okay, this reminds me of my cousins, my aunties, my kinfolk, that it just feels natural. So I'm thinking, no, I'm not thinking, I am knowing, I am certain that our two families are going to get along extremely well. And that's huge when you're, becoming one. I would say getting married, but truly you're becoming one. It's huge. Your family is an extension of who you are. And I don't think I've ever realized how strong our family ties are, both on my father's side and my mother's side. So it never occurred to me that I probably should have asked him early on what his family ties were, what sort of special events they shared as a family, what they did for fun. The things you just don't really think about. My main focus at that time was to just be able to have lunch with someone and maybe a nice dinner and have a conversation. That's where it was, and it just sort of blossomed into something else. So it has been a great trip, a great journey to be able to